Hey guys, thanks for being here. Today I wanted to reflect on my experience at the camp drafting clinic last weekend. I have my laptop here because I have thought up 7 lessons that I learnt during my time at the clinic, and I wanted to share them with you, and they might be beneficial to you, I don't know. Especially if you're like me and you're just getting into the sport. I think going to one of the clinics is super beneficial. I was feeling very intimidated by the sport. It was something that I've wanted to compete in for a while, but on the outside it looks like something that's quite scary and intimidating. So I have not entered a competition yet. But after going to the clinic, I feel really ready and just really excited now. So at the clinic, I honestly had one of the best weekends of the year. Everyone there was so nice, so encouraging, and I made a lot of new friends and I connected with people who shared a similar interest with me. So I had so much fun, and I came home feeling so excited and pumped and enthusiastic about the competition season, and also just about horses in general. It gives me something to do with them that isn't training as such. It's not working on them, it's more just enjoying a sport. So yeah, even if I didn't get any lessons as such from it, even if I did not, which I did, if I did not, I still would have just had so much fun meeting such wonderful people. So 7 lessons, starting off with the first one. Before I start with the first one, yeah, like I said, I didn't get to vlog my experience, mainly because I was on the horse pretty much the whole weekend, but I did get some of my camp drafting runs filmed, so I'm going to attach them to the end of this video so you can watch how I went then, yeah. All right, so starting off with lesson number 1, which was to be kind and encouraging to your fellow competitors. So like I just mentioned at the beginning about how everyone there was so nice and so welcoming and encouraging, I think it is important for not only everyone else, but for you yourself, that's the only person you control, you can only control yourself, to be encouraging towards everyone around you. I noticed during each run, there was always so many people encouraging and yelling and cheering on the people that were having a go. And then when people would come back after their run, everyone would circle around them and say, well done, like, how do you think you went? Like, you looked great. And it just put a smile on everyone's faces. The other thing I noticed was the people that were doing the most cheering and the most encouraging were then the people that were most encouraged by everyone else. So it's that give what you want in return thing, I think. If you are encouraging and kind and welcoming to everyone around you in the sport, they'll be the same to you. So lesson number 1 is just be everyone else's biggest supporter, because then they'll probably support you as well. Lesson number 2 is to be respectful to your horse and to the cows. So camp drafting is a fast and exciting type of sport, which is great for us, but with that it can be stressful for the animals that are involved. So obviously camp drafting involves horses moving a cow and then chasing a cow along in a draft, which can be quite stressful for the cow. Now, not all cows react the same when put under that kind of pressure. Some of them will be very sucky to the other cows in the camp, and if you choose a cow like that, it can be easy to get really upset with that cow because it's not doing exactly what you're wanting it to do. But I think what we need to be is just respectful and empathetic towards them, because they're just doing the best that they can. Same with your horse. So the horse is always doing the best that it can do, and because it's a fast sport, sometimes they can get a bit hot and think ahead of you and do things without you asking them to do that. Or it might be a horse that works slower and is a bit behind you. It's important that you don't punish the horse for doing these things, because they're doing their best, and there's nothing uglier than watching someone punish their horse for doing the wrong thing, when from the outside you can look in and see that the horse is just doing what they think is the best thing to do. So just be respectful to your horse, be respectful to the cows. Lesson number 2. Lesson 3 is sort of going along with lesson 2, which is to put your horse first. Now, it's a fast sport, so injuries can happen, and your horse really needs to be fit and it needs to be working at their best to compete well in the sport. So basically, if you think something's not quite right, or if you think they're not working 100%, don't enter them in the draft, or no one's going to be upset with you for scratching, which means pulling your horse out of the draft if they're not working well. I think it's just really showing that you care about your horse and care about the sport enough not to put other people at risk and not to put your horse at risk. So lesson number 3, always put your horse first. All right, lesson number 4 is to put in the work schooling your horse away from the cow and away from the draft in everything that a horse needs to be able to do to draft well. So when you see, even if you were to watch a YouTube video of other people camp drafting, watch what those horses are doing. They're usually doing rollbacks, they're doing haunch turns, they're stopping pretty quickly, they're moving off into a canter straight away, and they're doing lead changes. All of those things, if you cannot do them away from the cow, you're most likely not going to be able to do them on the cow. So try your best to have all of those things pretty solid before you go out and draft. Otherwise, you're going to get, especially in the camp, you're going to cut a cow and then you're going to be pulling and yanking and kicking your horse because they're not turning as best as they can. So it's sort of also putting your horse first as well. Having them educated enough that they can do the things that you want them to do is really beneficial, and it's necessary for camp drafting. So during the clinic, that's the majority of what we did for the 2 days. So we did, mind you, have some fun on the cows, and we practiced our drafting and we practiced our time in the camp. But for the rest of the time, we were schooling our horses in all of the maneuvers and the body control that is needed for drafting. So we had our horses moving off our legs, we had them collecting, because they need to be cantering safely. If they're just out flat cantering like that, they can easily trip or fall or something like that. So we had them working in a collection. Yeah, our haunch turns, our rollbacks, we did all of those things away from the cow during the clinic, and it helped tremendously for then when we got on the cow and practiced them on the cow. So lesson number 4, put the work in, school your horse. And if you're like me, I don't have cows on my property, so now I have things to work on to improve my skills in drafting. Even though I don't have cows, I can do all of the body control work at home and then have fun on the cows on the day of the draft. Now, lesson number 5 is draw it up. So draw the course of a camp drafting course and practice even with a pen, guiding yourself through the pattern. So we had a really famous camp drafter called Peter Bolton who gave us a lesson on the whiteboard. He said, so he's made up this lesson himself, and he said that it's very, very beneficial for people to get a bird's eye view of what the course and the patterns look like, and to see what the ideal pattern around the course will look like. So I will show you guys what the whiteboard looked like. I took a photo of it to take home and I'll show it to you. And it actually helped me because sometimes I can get disorientated when you're standing there and looking at any sort of pattern on the horse. You can sort of lose where you're supposed to be, but having it on the whiteboard from a bird's eye view helped me really remember what the course is gonna be. And he also showed us like a picture of a cow and their drive lines, so the lines that if your horse is positioned wherever on the cow will move in certain other directions. So that was helpful too. Yeah, lesson 5 if you can, get on a piece of paper and just practice drawing the line of where the pattern should go. And lesson 6 is be prepared for camping under the stars. So camp drafting usually goes over the whole weekend. It usually starts on the Friday or the Saturday and it finishes on the Sunday. So if you have entered, especially if you've entered one or more than one run, you will most likely need to camp and stay the night. And they usually don't have heaps of facilities. So not all of the camp drafting venues have showers or anything like that. So be prepared to need to have like a bucket wash or something. And also be prepared for any weather. So if you're like anything like me, I get cold really easily. So I just need to pack lots of warm clothing, even if it is scheduled to be a hot day. And also pack like everything you need for your horse if it was a cold night or hot night, whatever. You need to pack lots of buckets for feed. You need to pack all your horse gear. You need to pack a helmet because they're usually helmet only events. You need to pack lots and lots of food because you're going to eat a lot more than you think you'll eat. And yeah, whatever type of sleeping setup that you camp with. So if you sleep in the back of your car or in a swag or in a tent, whatever, you need to pack all those things. And I even also pack whatever I'll need for making my own yards if I don't like the yard setup they have at the venues. Yeah, pack for everything. Even pack extra water in case, you know, they're using bore water at the event, so it's good enough for your horse to drink but maybe not for you to drink. Yeah, just pack as much as you can. Comfy clothing for after the draft or things like that. Yeah, pack as much as you can and pack for anything that could possibly go wrong. If your saddle pad gets too wet, pack another saddle pad, things like that. And lesson 7, the last lesson, which is a cheesy lesson but a lesson nonetheless, is to focus on just having fun. So camp drafting involves 3 brains. There's your brain, the horse's brain, the cow's brain. And usually one of them is not going to be thinking quite straight. So either you're going to be stressed, which you will be stressed, especially on your first couple of drafts. Your horse might be stressed, the cow's stressed. So it's not always going to go to plan, and it's not usually going to go to plan. So if you're focusing on just enjoying the experience, you're not going to feel let down if you lose a cow or if your horse isn't performing the way you want him to, or if you forget the pattern or something like that. Just focus on having fun, supporting the people around you, on the community, on the making of friends, that type of thing, because it's not meant to be a stressful type of sport. So yeah, last lesson, have fun. If you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. I hope this was beneficial. Like I said, I had a great time at the camp drafting clinic. I think anyone who is wanting to get into the sport should try and find a local camp drafting club that can host some clinic like this, or find someone that does lessons. But yeah, I hope you got something out of this video at least. I hope it might give you some inspiration to have a go at the sport or get into any type of cow horse sport. I'm going to end this video by showing you the 2 clips of my 2 runs. So thank you so much for watching. See you later.
That's not